Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Channa Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Channa Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Channa Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Channa Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brachachana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brachachana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brachachana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brachachana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Radha Madhava ki Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 6, Text 9. These are the activities of Lord Rishabhdev. And I will just read the shloka. There is no meter. Yasya kilanu charitam upakarnya kona vena kakuta kanam rajarna nam upashiksha kalva adharma utkrishyamani bhavitya vinyena vimohita swadharma patam ukoto bhayam apayam kupatna pakandam asmanashyam nicha manishyamana sampravarti yashyate. I could just go to the translation and purport. by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Shukadev Goswami continued speaking to Maharaj Parikshit. My dear king, the king of Konka, Venka and Kutaka, whose name was Arhat, heard of the activities of Rishabdev and, imitating Rishabdev's principle, introduced a new system of religion, taking advantage of Kali Yuga, the age of sinful activity. King Arhat, being bewildered, gave up the Vedic principles which are free from risk and concocted a new system of religion opposed to the Vedas. That was the beginning of the Jain Dharma. Many other so-called religious followed this atheistic system. Purport. When Lord Shri Krishna was present on this planet, a person named Poundarik imitated the four-handed Narayan and declared himself the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He desired to compete with Krishna. Similarly, during the time of Lord Rishabdev, the king of Konak and Venka acted like a Paramahansa and imitated Lord Rishabdev. He introduced a system of religion and took advantage of the fallen condition of the people in this age of Kali. It is said in Vedic literatures that people in this age will be more inclined to accept anyone as a supreme lord and accept any religious system opposed to Vedic principles. The people in this age are described as Manda Sumandataya. Generally, they have no spiritual culture, and therefore they are very fallen. Due to this, they will accept any religious system. Due to their misfortune, they forget the Vedic principles. Following non-Vedic principles in this age, they think themselves the Supreme Lord, and thus spread the cult of atheism all over the world. Om Jnana Timirandasya Kinanjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruvi Namaha Shri Chaitanya Namo Bhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Svatadantikam Vanchakal Patarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Yevacha Patitanam Papanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Again, the text, Shukadev Goswami continued speaking to Maharaj Parikshit, my dear king, the king of Konka, Venka and Kutaka, whose name was Arhat, heard of the activities of Rishabdev and, imitating Rishabdev's principles, introduced a new system of religion. Taking advantage of Kali Yuga, the age of sinful activity, King Arhat, being bewildered, gave up the Vedic principles, which are free from risk, and concocted a new system of religion opposed to the Vedas. That was the beginning of the Jain Dharma. Many other so-called religious followed this atheistic system. So, this is an interesting text. We hear about the principle of imitating instead of following, which we'll try to talk a little bit. Anukara and anusara, there's two different things. Anukara means you just outwardly act like someone, it's like you imitate. And anusara means you actually follow someone. Sara means essence. So here we see that this King Arhat, he did not understood the essence, but he just externally followed, and in this way concocted something unauthorized from the Vedic perspective. So we will talk about this, and of course the other point which is interesting, basically the Bhagavatam describes the beginning of the Jain Dharma, right? So when we speak of dharma, of dharmic tradition, usually of course we speak of Sanatan Dharma, which is universal, an understanding that comes from the Vedas, which has been there since time immemorial. And only recently, when invaders came to India, they called the people beyond the river Sindhus the Hindus. So the term Hinduism or Hindus is actually a concocted or invented a new term which just was a geographical description of people. And now it has been accepted as kind of the term of the religion for the Indians. But actually within what we call Hinduism, there's many different religions, we can almost say. And of course, one is Hinduism in a sense, what we know, but even there's many different schools, as we know. There's the Shaivats, there's the Vaishnavas. But then there is also other religion which are also kind of sometimes understood to be part of the broader umbrella of Dharma or Dharmic religion, which are the Buddhists, the Sikhs, and the Jains, and then the Hindus. These four are all. But of course, strictly speaking, they are not really Dharmic. I mean, Dharmic in a sense, because especially the Jain and the Buddhists, as mentioned here, they're actually atheistic, and therefore they are, not really in line with. They're not theistic, and if they're not theistic, they're not really in line with Vedic, traditional, original Vedic understanding. And of course, the description here that this King Arhat imitated Rishabdev and then was bewildered, took advantage of the Kali Yuga and concocted his own system. Of course, that's not how the Jains themselves see it, right? That's the perspective of the Bhagavatam. That's our perspective. The Jains themselves, of course, have a different story. And I just did a little research, and not much, but just looked it up. And it's interesting, the Jains themselves, they explain that their religion was founded by spiritual teachers called the Tirthanakaras. Tirthanakaras, literally the Ford makers. And those and they who are believed to have established the spiritual path that leads across the cycle of birth and death to liberation. And it's basically, it's not a single historical figure, but it recognizes a series of 24 Tirthankaras as the key figures in its development. It's like a religion that has developed over a series of great teachers, and these great teachers are worshipped as the 24 Tirthankaras. And the Adinath, which is the first Tirthankara, what do you think is the name of that one? Rishabhanatha. The Rishabhanatha is the first, the Adinatha, the first of the Tirthankara. So, it's considered the originator of the Jain teachings. And it says here it's a semi-mythical figure mentioned in Jain texts and other Indian traditions. And so it seems that, and then the next one, the second Tirthankaras is called the Mahavira. Or it's actually, here is described as the last, the most important, the 24th is the Mahavira, who lived it was a contemporary of the Buddha himself, who lived in the same time as the Buddha. But the King Arhat is not mentioned here. So it seems that this King Arhat, he took Rishabdev's example and then explained Rishabdev in a certain way, and then from this explanation and worship of Rishabdev, then Jain religion started. So it's interesting how we have, and here Rishabdev is understood to be an avatar of the Lord, but then a different religion has been established by him, and not by him, but from imitating him, or according to the Bhagavatam. And the Jains, they have, as I said, of course the Jains, they see it differently. They see it as, the Jains actually, they see it as a that the Jain Dharma is an eternal teaching, which is mainly focused on karma, non-violence, and self-effort, a path to liberation. and they themselves see it as a eternal truth which was established by the different teachers, right? Of course, the Jains are known, they have these white dresses, and then they usually have masks, and then they have a broomstick, and then they sweep the roads when they walk, because ahimsa is a very central teaching. They don't want to harm any living entities, so they don't want to step unnecessarily on insects, ants, or worms or so. And they always have a cloth in front of their mouth. They always wear masks, that's not a new thing for them. And then they filter the water like that. To not, swallow some bacteria or some insects or something. So it's kind of admirable that they have this, the very sattvic lifestyle, trying to not harm anyone. I remember in my first or my second pilgrimage to India, I was in a place called Sharanat. Sharanat is close to Varanasi, and Sharanat is the place where Lord Buddha spoke his first teachings. I was already a devotee that time. This is 2002 or so. And I was a devotee already, but I still had some, my inclination towards Buddhism. So I wanted to see the place where Lord Buddha spoke his first teaching. Sharanat, I believe was the name. And there the Buddha spoke his teaching to his first disciples. So I went there, and there was a nice place. There was a Buddhist temple and monastery and so. And there was also a Jain temple just close to the entrance. So I went in there, and there was a young man, like my age or so, very young man, who was there, the priest. And then in the backside of him, he was dressed kind of, but not much, but some kind of dress. But behind him there was many pictures of a kind of Guru Parampara, of his teachers. They were all naked. And they were sitting in a lotus, you couldn't see private parts, but they were naked. Obviously they didn't have any clothes. And one of them wears sunglasses, but no clothes. So, no photographs. Yeah. I mean, some photographs, some painted, I believe. Anyhow, so that was my personal first contact with the Jain tradition. But yeah, I can't say much more about the Jain tradition because I haven't studied it. But from the Bhagavatam, we understand. Lord Rishabdev is the origin. I mean, not wanted by him, but because of the imitation of King Arhat. And Prabhupada makes a point that in this age of Kali, people very easily accept any kind of religion, any kind of religious leaders, because they are Prainalpayushasapya kalavasmin yuge jana manda sumanda matayo manda bhakya upadrita. In this iron age of Kali, men almost always have short lives. They are quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. Sounds familiar? Do we know that from our life? Quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and disturbed. It's an interesting description of qualities of people in the age of Kali, and it's, very, very true. No, very true. People are very quarrelsome. There is always some fighting, this arguing. People are certainly very much misguided. Nobody knows what is the goal of life. They're just running after sense gratification. They're unlucky because they can't really find true happiness in sense gratification, and therefore they're always disturbed. And Prabhupada explains lazy. You can say, well, lazy people are very active, right? The karmis are very active. How can you say they are lazy? They are lazy in understanding spiritual matters. Prabhupada explains, especially they're lazy in really deeply understanding spiritual matters, and therefore they are easily accept anything. And in this way, all kind of concocted religions are being developed. It's interesting, even recently, in recent days, I think in New Zealand or somewhere, they made a survey. The government made a survey to which religion do you belong. There was Christianity, Hinduism, and Buddhism, and there was a blank space open. No, and some people started to write Jedi, how you say it? Jediism, which means Jedi is the Jedi is from the Star Wars film, the movie, Hollywood movie, science fiction movie. And the Jedis are the protector of the truth and the power, and they're like the good people fighting against the bad. So people just out of a joke, they wrote Jedi. And it turned up, and then many people followed, and there is thousands, and they did it actually. And now over the time there is a Jedi church that is actually an organization which is a Jedi church, and they have hundreds and thousands of followers who actually consider themselves to be Jedis. I don't know. And there was another one. I think originally it was a project by some students in America. The flying spaghetti monster. That's something for you, Krishna. Pasta. The flying spaghetti monster. It was from. I think originally it was just a joke by some students. They wanted to prove that people can believe anything, and they just made up like a kind of a Bible with very stupid stuff, and the religion is called the Flying Spaghetti Monsters. But and people started to follow it, and now it's there in America, and they are kind of fighting for their rights, that they want to have the religious freedom too. It's like. So that's Kali Yuga. It kind of takes all kind of interesting forms. Hare Krishna. So let's go back to the Bhagavatam. I usually try to avoid to go too much into kind of these things, but it's kind of, it's illustrative. We're speaking about, Prabhupada says people believe anything, and it's there. Now, the maybe more important point for us is the difference between following and imitating. We spoke about this. Anukara and anusara. Sara means essence. Anu means following. So either you can, kara means acting. You can just act like someone and follow by just acting, or you can actually follow someone by understanding the essence. And often we see people, instead of following, they imitating someone. There is a nice little story from the Mahabharata. This story is told by Salya to Karna in the 41st chapter of the Karna Parva of the Mahabharata. So Salya describes the danger, illustrates the danger of pride, and the danger to trying to imitate someone else without having the qualities. So there was once lived a wealthy Vaishya by the side of the ocean, and he performed many sacrifices and gave generous in charity, and he was very pure in his habits and in his mind, and he had several sons and lived a very pious life. And so they had a very opulent lifestyle. And close to that house lived a crow. And that crow, that bird, daily came to the home and ate the remnants of that family. So they would eat lunch and then they throw out everything somewhere in the corner. Like in India, you have these leaf plates, and then the crow would come and pick. But because it was very opulent, there was pudding and milk products and opulent food. So the crow ate every day, became fatter and fatter, and it became very arrogant. He thought that he's better than all the other birds because he's so opulent. So one day, some great white swans, they were practically equal to Garuda in terms of their speed and range of flight, and they were flying over that house. And the sons of the Vaishyas, they saw the crow there, and the crow was puffed up. And they made jokes. Hey, you crow, you are superior to all of the birds, even to these swans. Which of course is a joke. Look at your crow and you see the swan. It's such a difference. But the crow, foolish, intoxicated by the words of these sons of the Vaishya, he thought, yes, he believed the words. He thought, that's true, yes, I'm the greatest, I'm super great. So then he challenged the swans. Let us have a flying competition to see who is the best bird amongst us. And the swans, they looked at him like, what? It's like, we are the swans who live in the Manasa lake, and we traverse all over the earth, and we are, always flying. We are. So how can you compete with us? You're just a simple crow. And the crow said, no, I'm the greatest. I tell you. I will, before your eyes, I shall fly in 108 different display varieties of motions in flight, like a Flugkunststück. Sometimes the Swiss army, they fly with their airplanes into some. So the crow wanted to show many different flight motions. And the swans, they were like, you may fly in many different ways you like. We only know one way to fly, as all other birds also fly, and we just continue our travel. You may do what you want. And then the crow kind of started to rise and fly behind the swans, and he turned around and down and up, and for a moment it seems to be quite impressive what the crow is actually doing. But then the swans, they turned west and they over the ocean, and they start to fly more and more towards the ocean, out in the ocean. And after some time, the crow became very tired. And then the crow, looked down and saw that there is no place to land. And there is many sea monsters, dangerous sea monsters in the ocean. So the crow, fall down and touched the water, and again came up, and again touched down the water, again came up, and was in anxiety. And then the swan was kind of saying, "Hey, crow, what kind of fly is this? Touching the water, coming up, again touching the water." And then the crow kind of, lowered his head, and I'm such a fool. I thought just because I ate opulent food, I became proud. I thought that I'm great, but actually, I realized, what can I do? Please save me. Please bring me back to the land. And then the swan had compassion and took the crow and brought the crow back to the land. So Salya told to Karna that just as the crow, similarly living on the remnants of Dhritarashtra's sons, Karna had become proud and thought himself fit to fight with Krishna and Arjuna on the battle of Kurukshetra. And then, so sometimes it seems that after becoming uplifted by receiving the mercy of great personalities, some kakajanas, some crow-like persons, become proud and forget the color of their feathers. Like we are compared to crows. We are croak, we are taking some food in the garbage. We are conditioned souls. And then comes a swan-like Paramahamsa personality, the spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, who saves us. And then by being in the association of these devotees, then after a short time we think, oh, now I also have become like a great personality. I also have become a Paramahamsa. And we forget, the color of our feathers. We forget that we are actually still crows. After having a little association with a swan-like Paramahamsa devotee, they begin to consider themselves far superior to their peers, and perhaps even equal to the Paramahamsa. Instead of anusara, following the instruction of the Lord or the devotees, they take up the cheap practice of anukhara, imitation. So by taking shelter of swan-like persons, we may cross the ocean of material existence, of the repeated birth and death, but if we try to imitate them, we will certainly fall into the ocean and drown. So by anusara, by following them, we may cross the ocean. But by anukara, by imitating, we will just fall into the ocean back, just like the crow. So I think it's a nice little lesson that one should be, careful not to imitate, but to follow. And I think we can see in our movement also, after Prabhupada's departure, there have been some personality in some leaders in ISKCON. They tried to follow Prabhupada, but they ended up imitating Prabhupada. They accepted the worship that was given to Prabhupada, but they were not adopting the internal mood of humility that Prabhupada also had. And that becomes very dangerous. If you just imitate you just externally, kara, you just act like a pure devotee. Fake it till you make it was the motto. Yes, we may be not yet pure devotee, everyone is worshipping us as pure devotees. We'll just continue and then someday we become actually. But it's that was the motto. But it's very dangerous business if you just externally behave, but internally you have not actually cultivated the mood. And therefore we should be very because pride is a very great stumble block if we develop pride. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is singing in one of his songs, Garhita achare richalama moji nakari nu sadhu sangha loi sadhu vesha. He says, and anga and so on, remaining absorbed in abominable activities, I never really kept company with sadhus. Now I adopted the dress of a sadhu and accept the role of instructing others. Like I'm sitting here, putting on some sadhu and taking the role of instructing others. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, what he's saying, this is certainly Maya's big joke. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, this is a big joke of Maya, like putting me on a Vyasasan, representing Vyasadev and then speaking. That's really a joke. So that's of course in the case of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, it's not true. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is certainly such a great personality, but like in my case, it's certainly a fact. Just because one has been around for some time and one wears some orange clothes, doesn't make you a sadhu. To really be a sadhu is something else. It requires much more internal cultivation, internal realization. And therefore one should always keep a humble position. I'm a crow. I'm just trying to follow the great personalities, the swans, but I'm not a Paramahamsa myself. I'm far, far away from being a Paramahamsa myself. So that humility is important, because Dhambodharapa, pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, and ignorance, these are qualities belong to those of demoniac nature, Krishna says. And in the Manashiksha, they are described as the highwaymen of lust, greed, anger, have captured me and bound me with the ropes of the desire for fame. And like these 6 enemies, and pride is one of them. And Sanatana Goswami advises us that Sanatana Goswami says that even if one is very exalted, he should be humble and think himself very incompetent and lowly. A wise man should try to be humble in his words, deeds, and thoughts. And actually, humility and love is directly connected. It's quite interesting. Humbleness comes from advancement and love for Krishna. The more one has affection and love for Krishna, the more humble one will be. As seen in the example of the woman of Gokula when they were separated from Krishna. And the example is given like you have a tree, and there is many fruits on the tree, many apples, then the tree naturally will bow down, like the branches will bow down. Why? Because it's heavy, full of apples, full of fruits. So because there is something there, the tree bows down. But if there is no fruits, the tree stands erected. Like, I'm such a great tree. But if there is actually something there, some value, then bow down. It's a nice picture. Yeah. So mature humbleness brings love for Krishna, and it's seen that the two are in the relationship of cause and effect. And it's interesting, actually, that's the quality of a true devotee. Like the materialistic people, although they don't have any qualification, they think I'm very great. But the devotees who are full of good qualities, they think I'm very low. That's the difference between a devotee and a non-devotee. So what does it mean to understand the essence, or what does it mean to... there is another story which shows someone who is a speculator disciple. We should not be speculators, but we should try to understand Sara, the essence. So there is another story. There is so it's most important to accept essence. Those who are speculators, who cannot accept the essence, are known as Bharavahi. Bharavahi means one who carrying heavy load, just carrying heavy, like an ass, just carrying some heavy stuff without any meaning. They are not Saragrahi. Saragrahi is one who understands the essence. So, and Srila Bhakti, this is actually a story by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Bhaktisiddhanta had many of these funny little stories which have a deeper meaning to teach people in general. So once there was a Guru Brubha. What is a Guru Brubha? A Guru Brubha is a cheater guru, like a pseudo guru. Is called a Guru Brubha. And he accepted disciple only to get pranama and pranama and pranami, obeisances and money. That's why he accepted disciple. Yes, worship me, give me money. That was his main business. As in the Purana it says, it's very difficult. It's easy to find someone. It's easy to find a guru who takes away the money of the disciple, but it's hard to find someone who takes away the sinful activities of the disciple. And this was a pseudo guru. So he went to the house of his disciple, who also was a crooked person. The disciple was also, because usually the pseudo guru also attracts pseudo disciples. So that disciple was also kind of not really understanding the essence. He was a manodharmi or manurati. He followed the mind. Well, as we sometimes also do, right? We follow our own mind, but we should follow Shastra. So the disciple cooked a nice feast, lunch. Jai Jagannath Baladev Subhadra, Shishi Gone Taiki Jai. Disciple cooked a nice feast, lunch, and then the guru ate to his full satisfaction. And then after that, the guru desired, please bring me some haritaki. Haritaki, a fruit, which says that if you take especially the skin of the haritaki, if you ate the skin of the after eating, then it helps digestion. Gives a good odor in the mouth. It actually purifies the blood and also helps digestion according to Ayurveda. So the guru said, please, I ate too much, bring me some haritaki. So the disciple, who was a speculator, Bharavahi, not a Saragrahi, so therefore he thought the outside, the skin of a haritaki is useless, asara, and inside the fruit or the skin, the seeds, that's what we want to eat. That's Sara. So he threw away the skin and brought the seed and the fruit. And then the guru said, you're foolish, don't you know? The outside skin of the haritaka is useful, and the inside seed are useless. No. What I need is the skin. That is for digestion. But the disciple already threw it away, so what to do? Next day, the guru again came for lunch, and the disciple again cooked. And after the meal, the disciple brought some cardamom to his guru. And he thought, yesterday the guru said, the skin is useless, the skin is the essence and the seed is useless. So what he did, he threw away the cardamom seed and brought the cardamom, how we say, the husk to the guru. And the guru, what is this? The outside of the cardamom is useless and the inside is useful. Oh, Gurudev, yesterday you said that the outside is useful and the inside is useless. So that's an example of a useless disciple. Bahara Vahi. One who just carry heavy load, he doesn't understand. He's not able to discriminate. He's not able to understand the essence of what is there. So, therefore, we should try to follow or understand the essence of Guru's teaching. And some time ago, we gave the example of Bhaktisiddhanta, who said that he completely followed the instruction of his Guru. You remember that one? Yeah, Gorkishore Das Babaji told him, don't make any disciples, don't associate with materialistic people, don't ever go to Calcutta. And Bhaktisiddhanta says, I have fully followed this instruction. Like, wait a minute. You have many disciples, you always associate with the politicians, and you live in Calcutta, I have a big temple there. How can you say that you follow this instruction? But Bhaktisiddhanta understood the essence of the instruction, not just the external. So he says, I didn't make any disciple, I see my disciple as my gurus. I never see myself superior to them. I'm just a disciple of my guru. I never associate with materialistic people. I rather give association to them. And I'm not living in Calcutta. I'm living in a mandir, which is Vaikuntha. So in this way, he understood the essence, and so that's what is required, right? So what does it mean to follow Shri Guru? So just a few, then we complete. So if we approach the lotus feet of a pure devotee, a Guru, we shall be able to surrender to Krishna 100%. A true Guru teaches us by his own example that our life should be fully dedicated to the service of Krishna, which is our only duty. And such a Guru is Shri Guru, Sadguru, and his lotus feet should always appear in our heart. And that's a true disciple. Just like one sees Bhagavan Krishna appearing in every object, similarly the real disciple sees his Guru's lotus feet everywhere. Then how can I say that my Guru is not there? A true disciple always remembers his Guru. Like once Srila Prabhupada, he was on the way going to Mayapur. Usually we would always stop at a samadhi, like the temple samadhi of Bhaktisiddhanta. But one time he just passed by. And then some of his godbrothers criticized. You see, Bhaktivedanta Swami became so puffed up, world acharya, that he not even goes and pays obeisance to his Guru. And then Prabhupada became very hurt, and he said that I'm never separated from my Guru, not even for a moment. I always meditate about my Guru. I'm never separated from him. How can you say like this? So that's the mood. Sat Shishya, true disciple, he always keeps the lotus feet of his Guru in his heart and is always thinking of his Guru. So how can he steal or do any nonsense activity if we see Guru is everywhere? So Guru is always attracting me by his lotus feet. I cannot go away from his lotus feet for a single moment. And if we listen to that Guru, then we can understand his teachings. So then Guru gives his instructions. So what does it mean to really follow the instruction? So the Guru engages us in Krishna Seva, and the Guru speaks about Krishna and asks us to glorify Krishna. And when we approach a Guru, he will speak about the soul, Atma Tattva, about Guru Tattva, Isha Tattva, Krishna Tattva. Gradually, he will explain Krishna Tattva. And after listening patiently, he came to his conclusion. So we have to be patient and listen from Guru. And then, if we don't have patience, we shall not be able to understand the absolute truth. So the tattva will never enter our ears. Because sometimes I'm sitting, listening in the Bhagavatam, but the mind is going here and there. Okay, when he will be over? Okay, another 8 minutes, and then it's over. And we finally take prasadam. Like we are restless. We are not. So with such a set of mind, we will not be able to understand how can tattva enter our ears and our hearts. So by Guru's mercy, we can relish this rasa, this nectar, but we have to listen. Eagerness for listening must be developed from our side. Those who listen more and more can do Hari Bhajan nicely. Only after listening it is possible to see Krishna and to do bhajan. So that's the thing, like if we listen, then we understand things and we can do proper bhajan. Like if you don't listen and you look on the altar, you see some wooden statues or some nice stone marble statue from Jaipur. That's what you see. But if you actually listen, if you listen from Guru, you listen from Shastra, you understand. No, actually there is Gaur-Nitai, there is Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra. But that understanding, it comes from listening. And without listening, you don't get the understanding. So, and Bhakti, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Siddhanta baliya chite nakara alasa iha hite Krishna lage sudridha manasa. We should not be lazy to listen to the Siddhanta conclusion and discuss it, because such discussions strengthen the mind. Thus one's mind becomes strongly attached to Sri Krishna. And we just mentioned before that in Kali Yuga, that's the problem, people are lazy. And they're lazy in going for spiritual life, understanding spiritual life. But Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, one should not be lazy. Listening Siddhanta, one should try to understand Siddhanta properly. One should come to proper conclusion. Because what will it do? It will help to strengthen the mind, to fix the intelligence, sharpen the intelligence, and that will help us to become attached to Krishna. So we need to hear Tattva, and we need to understand and follow Guru. So Gurus, Vaishnavas are very speedily going to Krishna. The Guru is a very advanced person, right? Our spiritual master is very advanced. So they are actually going very quickly, speedily, they're going towards Krishna's lotus feet. And we must follow them. No, we must hurry up, follow them quickly. If you do not follow them, then there is possibility that Maya will catch us. And this is from a talk of Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu. Gaur Govinda Maharaj said, he always tells a story that in Singapore, in a temple, there was a picture, big picture. This is from BBT picture. Then you're seeing there is a staircase, and on the top there is Radha Krishna, and a disciple is going up the staircase. But then there is two Madachis holding garland and smiling, and the student looks back. This is a little brahmachari katha. Of course, it's just representing the allurements of the world. Like Gurudev is on the steps. Gurudev is walking up towards Krishna. Disciple is following, but then from behind, garlands, and the disciple is looking back. Guru is there. So here it says, one has to make his mind and heart similar to the Guru's mind and heart, and one should follow Gurudev quickly. Gurudev's mind and heart are concentrated on Krishna. So I must try to make my mind and my heart like that. Like Gurudev has only Krishna in his mind, and Gurudev only follows Krishna. So I should also try to make Krishna one, like the goal of my life. And of course, if someone wants to get married and have a Grihastha-ashram, there's no problem. But the focus should be on Krishna, even in the Grihastha-ashram. And what happens if I don't do that? What if I don't understand the heart of my Guru, if I don't follow the Guru by actually also adopting that mood of having Krishna as one, like number one in my life, that Krishna is the ultimate goal in my life. If I don't do that, what happens? Kanaka, Kamini, Pratishta will enter our heart. That is what's happening. Either you fill your heart with Krishna and you understand what is my Guru's mood and mission, and you develop that spirit, the same mood of my Guru, and then you progress spiritually. And if you don't do that, then Kanaka, Kamini and Pratishta, the desire for wealth, the desire for sense enjoyment, women or men, and Pratishta, the desire for honor and recognition, worship, will enter, and then we will be stocked. We will not be able to make any progress. We should not discuss about other things, expect Krishna and his pure devotees, and we should try to understand Guru's heart. And of course, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita we find the example of Rupa Goswami, who perfectly understood the heart of Mahaprabhu when he composed this shloka during Ratha Yatra. And Mahaprabhu was surprised himself. He says, "My heart is very confidential. How did you know my mind in this way?" No. And then he embraced Rupa Goswami. How could you understand my heart? How was it possible? Guda Mora Hridhaya. Guda means very secret. My Hridhaya, my heart is very confidential. How could you understand my heart? How is it that you understand my heart? And he embraced Rupa Goswami. And later he asks Swarup Damodar, how could Rupa Goswami understand my heart? I don't understand. No. My heart is very confidential. How could you know? And Swarup Damodar said, Jnani Kripa Kariya Ache Apane. I can understand that you have already bestowed your causeless mercy upon him before. You have given your mercy before already. Because you have showered mercy, because you were pleased to Rupa, because Rupa Goswami was listening very attentively in Prayag, Prayag, Allahabad. So there, Rupa Goswami listened very carefully, and Mahaprabhu could see that he's a very receiving. He gave all the mercy to him, and then later when he came to Puri, Rupa could understand the heart of Mahaprabhu. And then Mahaprabhu was so pleased, and he gave him all the empowerment, and that's why Rupa Goswami is known as the Rasa Acharya. He is the one who, because Mahaprabhu relishing this rasa in his heart, in separation, in the mood of the gopis, mood of Radharani, in separation to Krishna, and the only person who really could understand, of course, Swarup Damodar Ramananda Roy, and then Rupa Goswami also. And that's why Rupa Goswami writes the Rasa Shastra. And that's our goal also. Not to write Rasa Shastra, but to understand the heart of our Guru. To deeply understand, we can write Rasa Shastra if you're qualified, but the goal of our life is to deeply understand the heart of our spiritual master, because then we are doing anusara, we're following in the footstep, we are understanding the sara, the essence. Not that we do like King Arhat, who just externally tried to imitate Rishabdev, and by that he concocted another new system of religion which is against Vedic injunctions. So we shouldn't follow in the footstep of King Arhat, but we should follow in the footstep of Rupa Goswami. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, I think time is up. Okay, we take one question, then we end.
First one to ask you this one verse that says when we have full faith in Guru and the Vedas, in Guru and Krishna, then all the purports of the Vedas will be revealed. Do you remember this?
Yeah, Yasya Para, Yasya Para. We have it here. Damodar, you remember? Here, 24. Yasya Deve Para Bhaktir Yeah, basically the shloka says that Kali Yuga brain, that's another symptom of Kali Yuga. Yasya deve para praktiryata deve tata guru tasyaita katita hi artaha prakashanta mahatmanaha. Only to those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master are all the imports of the Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. So yes, that's a beautiful shloka which illustrates actually the essence also of how the secret of success in a sense of developing Guru Bhakti. If you develop Guru Bhakti, you also develop Krishna Bhakti. And that's illustrated here. We need to have faith in both Guru and Krishna. Because they are a team, we can say. Krishna Balaram. they are working together. Guru and Krishna. Because it takes a lot to deliver a conditioned soul. It's not so easy to deliver a conditioned soul. So Guru and Krishna together, and sometimes many gurus, it needs many people to actually deliver someone. But they're working together, and that's why a disciple should have implicit faith in Guru and the spiritual master and Krishna. And if one develops such a faith, then knowledge will be revealed from within, from the heart. It will be, it's not a book knowledge, but it's a knowledge that comes from within. And therefore it's so important to develop our relationship to our spiritual master, understanding his heart. And if we do so, then naturally he will be very pleased and all the blessings will come.
Is this from the shloka book? Where can you find it?
That's my own shloka book. But in the shloka book it's also there, in Prabhupada's shloka book you find it there also. I believe so. Yeah. Good, then Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Go Premanande, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai.